Mr. Chris?
You want a picture
Where is
first?
Reverend Williams? Oh,
I want to do a picture first.
picture first, okay. And we have Patrice. Yep, I'm coming.
If all current and former board members could please come up. Current and former board members.
Okay, we are really going to get started this time. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening. I want to start off by just saying hello. My name is Kara Casimiro. I'm the superintendent of schools. Going in and out. You are in our brand new Board of Education space, this absolutely beautiful room. We're so proud of this building. We're so proud of the school that's attached to this building. I can go on and on about that. And all the people who had a hand in building this and making this day a reality. Right up until, I hope you had a chance when you walked in to see the beautiful engraved plaque on the wall. If you didn't get a chance to see it, please check it out on the way out. It is a replica of this. This is not the actual sign. This is a replica. But the real one is out there. It is beautiful. And Antonio, where are you? And Tom made sure that that was here, arrived, and installed, and the city to make sure that that was installed in time for tonight's ceremony. So thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. I just want to acknowledge a few folks in the room, and it's always dangerous to do that at the risk of forgetting someone. And many people have walked in since I have jotted some names down. But there's a lot of people in the room tonight, many who I recognize from some wonderful visits at New Hope Baptist Church, some beautiful faces that welcomed me on a few occasions that I was very thankful for that I see here tonight, and that are also very special, I know, to Gladys and her family. So welcome all. In the room tonight, we have former board chair Ralph Petrofessa, who is instrumental in commissioning the dedication of the room this evening. Patrice McCarthy from CABE, who's the executive director and general counsel, who made a nice drive to come all the way here to recognize our board chair. Mayor Roberto Alves, Senator Julie Kushner, Rep. Farley Santos, Representative Ken Gucker, Godfrey, former board chair, Irving Fox, Rachel Chalesky, former board chair, and again, Ralph. So what a testament that so many people came back after serving to recognize Gladys's evening and also just the service as a public servant, all of that she has put into the Danbury Public School System. I see a lot of our councilmen and women here tonight. Thank you so much. And again, so many folks, our cabinet team that it all came out early to recognize, and of course Gladys's beautiful family who's here tonight as well. So there's a lot of beautiful people in the room, smiling, all here for Gladys. So I just wanted to take a moment to recognize everybody. Tonight, I have the distinct privilege, and I admit a deep personal joy, in honoring one of the most enduring and impactful leaders in the history of the Danbury Public Schools, Board Chair Gladys B. Cooper. Over her more than 30 years of service to this school system and community, Board Chair Cooper has become not only a steadfast advocate for children, especially those whose needs often go unheard, but also a symbol of the kind of leadership that anchors an entire school district through its many seasons of change. In that time, she has seen many superintendents come and go, each one with different styles, visions, and timelines. And yet, through each transition, her presence has provided something that is rare and invaluable in public education, particularly in urban public education, which is stability. In an era when educational leadership can be defined by turnover, Ms. Cooper has been a constant. She holds strong standing institutional knowledge that can never be replaced. Not just facts and figures, but the deeper wisdom of understanding how this community has evolved, what it values, and where we've come from and where it needs to go. She has helped us to preserve our sense of direction when things got turbulent, and she's done that with remarkable calm, clarity, and conviction. I can say from personal experience, and I know my predecessors would agree, that the relationship between a board chair and a superintendent is unlike anything else in public service. It is not built only on shared goals, but on trust, on transparency, and 1,000 behind-the-scene conversations. Sometimes those conversations happen in meeting rooms, Many happen in the parking lot, before and after meetings. Sometimes it's early morning or a late night phone call or text. And in moments, most often, where challenges need urgent action. It's a relationship that demands honesty and patience and a shared moral compass. And I have all of that and more in working with Board Chair Cooper. There have been countless moments in the past few years where we faced fiscal volatility, facility challenges, enrollment growth, and unprecedented social pressures, when I have leaned on her in those times for her judgment and her steadfastness. She knows when to ask the hard questions and never hesitates to remind us why we're here, for the children in Danbury. I trust her instincts because they are grounded in decades of experience and an unshakable belief that all children can grow and learn and thrive when adults do our jobs with integrity. Board Chair Cooper was championing equity before it was a buzzword. She was advocating for marginalized students before it became a political priority. She has always believed in the capacity of every child, and she has worked relentlessly to make sure that belief becomes a reality in the classrooms across our city. So tonight, as we dedicate the Board of Education room in her name, we are doing more than honoring a career. We are recognizing the quiet power of long-term leadership, the impact of institutional knowledge, and the courage that it takes to keep showing up for kids year after year, and the strength of character that builds trust between leaders. Gladys, you are not only a board chair, a mentor, and a public servant, you are also a teacher of values to me, to your colleagues, and to the entire Danbury community. You have mentored new board members, partnered with city officials, supported many superintendents, and above all, stood with and by children. May this room be a permanent symbol of the leadership that you have provided and the values that you have instilled. May it remind us every time we meet that our work is more than about policy. It's about purpose, perseverance, and people like you. On behalf of the entire Danbury Public School System, thank you for your service, your wisdom, your partnership, and most of all, your friendship. Please join me in celebrating Chair Gladys B. Cooper. I'm going to hug you again. Okay, there's a long list of people that want to speak on behalf of Gladys. I'd now like to call up our former board chair, Ralph Petrofessa.
Thank you, Kara. You said everything I was going to say. Well, first off, I'm glad this day is finally here. We know things take a little longer in Danbury, so I'm glad that we're here to dedicate this room today. And I promised Ms. Cooper I wasn't going to embarrass her, so I'm going to keep it short because I'm not talking about myself. That shaves about 10 minutes off the words right there. But I'd just like to say thank you for saying I'm instrumental in this happening. When you're going to dedicate someone like Gladys Cooper, it's pretty easy. You mention it, and it happens because she's so loved by many people. But I will certainly take credit for it. So, but yeah, I mean, so if you're here in this room and you know Gladys, I don't have to tell you why she's getting a dedication or recognition like this. It's just the type of person she is. And I just want to say that I'm honored to have served with her all that time. I'm happy to be a part of the celebration, and I'm happy to call her my friend. And thank you for teaching me, you know, it's better sometimes not to say what you're thinking out loud when the camera's rolling. Sorry it took me a couple years to learn that, but like I said, the last thing I'll say about Gladys, and I said I wasn't going to embarrass her, but I sat next to her 2 or 3 different times for like 5 years. And, you know, when you get elected to the board, you think you're going to change everything. I was shot out of a cannon. And I'm like, yeah. And she quietly pulled me aside and said, you know they tape everything, right? And I said, what are you talking about? She's like, you see the camera back there? I don't even think there was a camera back then, 2013. They're like, they're recording everything you're saying. I said, oh, man. And she actually told me not to wear sneakers either. So that was a good thing. So like I said, I mean, I'm going to keep it short. I value everything I learned from you. And I'm proud to call you my friend. So congratulations. It's well-deserved, Ms. Cooper. And I'm going to go hug you, too.
That was wonderful. Thank you. And now, again, I'd like to introduce Patrice McCarthy. She's the CABE Executive Director and General Counsel, and she's here tonight to say a few words about Gladys.
Thank you so much, and I am honored to be part of this well-deserved recognition of Gladys Cooper's dedication to public education. Gladys is a role model for the 1,400 volunteer school board members in Connecticut. She is a shining example of the commitment and resilience needed to fulfill this important role in the community, and she's done it for 33 years. Gladys joins our monthly board chair check-in Zoom conversations to both learn and share her wisdom. On our September call, she talked about the importance of focusing on students, not political party, even though it's election season, when making decisions at the board table. She also shared her great excitement at the smooth opening of school this year in Danbury and this beautiful new building to meet student needs. I looked back at Gladys's candidate profile in the 2023 election, where she discussed the importance of everyone in the district: students, teachers, parents, and administration. In response to the question, "What's the best advice anyone ever gave you, Gladys?" she replied, "Run for the board and you will make a difference." That was in 1991, and Gladys continues to make a difference. Her commitment to doing what is best for Danbury students has remained strong for all her years of service. Gladys, on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Connecticut Association of Boards of Education and our staff, we congratulate you on this well-deserved honor. May the Danbury community be inspired by your service, and we'll see you at the Delegate Assembly.
Now I'd like to welcome up to the mic Mayor Roberto Alves and Senator Julie Kushner.
Thank you.
Let me grab those two.
Good evening, everybody. Hello, Ms. Cooper. How's everybody doing? I'm so happy to be here. I get to do so many wonderful events, and every time it's my favorite event, right? Because it's true. Every time you have something that means so much, we usually wait too long to honor people. We usually wait way too long to honor people. We didn't wait long this time. The building opened, the room is ready, and we're here to honor the legendary chairwoman, Ms. Cooper. I want to recognize some people from the city who are here too, who have worked with her for a long time as well, not in elected positions, but in their official roles at City Hall and within all aspects of our city. And that is our head of public works and lead engineer, Antonio Adirola, and his right-hand man, Tom Hughes. You guys have been instrumental in the growth of our school system, making sure the kids have beautiful facilities to learn. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for your dedication to the city, but thank you for your dedication to our youth and to working alongside folks like Ms. Cooper. So thank you for being here. We also have our town clerk, Lori Esposito, and our, where's that? Is he still here? There he is back there. And our treasurer, Dan Jowdy. Dan, you are no stranger to anybody here. So round of applause for those two. Thank you. And before I get to the proclamation, I'll just say a couple other words. Gladys has been somebody I've looked up to. Your dedication to our students, your steadfast support of our students is why you're here. Your decisions are made not based on political agendas. You disagree respectfully with people from both sides, because to you it's what's fair to our kids, all kids, black, brown, Asian, white. It's advancing education in an equitable way. And as a father of 2 public school kids in Danbury, thank you. Thank you for being a champion for my kids, for all kids, and for our school system. You are loved by so many, and all you got to do is look around this room. New Hope, y'all showed up. New Hope, you guys showed up. You have, and I was just explaining to somebody, she's a leader to the New Times. She's a leader not just on an elected body, but in our community. She has been a staple at New Hope, and people don't just come out on an evening night for anybody. They could be at home watching TV, helping their kids with homework, doing anything, but they're not. They're here for you. They're here for you. Congratulations. This one brings me joy. So today we have a mayor's proclamation. Be it hereby known to all that the mayor and the residents of the city of Danbury recognize Gladys Cooper for her service to the Board of Education. Gladys Cooper has dedicated over 30 years of service to the Danbury School Board, exemplifying leadership, dedication, and unwavering commitment to education. And she has contributed her unique perspective as a community member, mother, grandmother, and board member, always prioritizing what is best for children and families in our community. And she has been recognized with the Connecticut Association of Boards of Education Award for service, highlighting her outstanding contributions to public education. Was honored as a participant in Congresswoman Estes' Standing on the Shoulder of Giants Black History program, acknowledging her impact and leadership in our community, and has served as a mentor within the Danbury school systems, inspiring and guiding students and colleagues alike. Her service and dedication continue to positively impact the lives of countless students, families, community members, where Gladys is a valued member of New Hope community, actively engaging in efforts to support and uplift others. And she is a loving mother to her son, Daquan Miller, mother-in-law to Chantry Deing, and grandmother to Jakeem Miller. Lania, I'm sorry if I said it wrong. Lanaya, I'm sorry, Lanaya. I apologize. Lana, you want to stand up here, Lanaya? You want to stand up here with me? Sure? Okay. Lanaya Miller, Camille Keogh, Liliani Keogh, Liani Keogh, and Kyrie Keogh, extending her care and dedication to her family and community. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Roberto Olaus, as the mayor of the city of Danbury and its residents, do hereby honor and commend Gladys Cooper for her outstanding service and leadership and unwavering dedication to our community. We proudly celebrate the dedication of the new boardroom at Danbury High School West, named in her honor, a testament to her lifelong commitment to education, service, and community. Signed this 22nd day of October 2025 at City Hall by me, Roberto Olaus, Mayor, with the great seal of the city of Danbury. If we can give her a round of applause. This is well deserved. Gladys. And before I hand it over to my good friend, State Senator Julie Kushner, I just want to say, whoever did the agenda, thank you for putting me before Reverend Williams, because usually I get the bad luck of going after a reverend, and then I'm looking bad. So thank you, everybody, for that. I appreciate it. Senator?
Thank you. And wow, I want to ask Representative Godfrey and Representative Gucker and Representative Santos to join me here. I've often joked about going after the mayor. He gets to put all these words into his proclamations, and we're limited to only 780 characters, including spaces, 480, thank you. So we decided this time we would outdo the mayor by bringing 2 citations. One of them is for you, Gladys, to take home and to have with you, and the other one is for the Board of Education to have in your, hopefully here in this room, to really recognize for everyone the contribution of Ms. Cooper. So I'm going to read them both, but I know my colleagues and I really, there's so much admiration for you. You have served our city for, as was said, 33 years. you've been in office the whole time. My kids who grew up, and now I got a grandkid in college, you served the city the whole time. And that's remarkable. And you never wavered in your commitment to our children. And so our admiration and love for you is so great. And so thank you. This is from the State of Connecticut General Assembly official citation, and it is introduced by myself and Representatives Gucker, Godfrey, and Santos, and the whole delegation. And it says, in terms of the one to the Board of Ed, it says, be it hereby known to all, the Connecticut General Assembly offers its sincerest congratulations to the Gladys Cooper Boardroom in recognition of the honor bestowed upon Gladys Cooper in the dedication of this boardroom. As the longest-serving Board of Ed member in Connecticut, Ms. Cooper is a tireless advocate for our youth. She has made an enormous contribution to improving the quality of Danbury Public Schools as she lends her compassionate wisdom to ensure our schools meet the needs of every student. Dedicating the boardroom in her name is well-deserved recognition of Ms. Cooper's outstanding service, leadership, and commitment. And for you, Gladys, it says, be it hereby known to all, the Connecticut General Assembly offers its sincerest congratulations to Gladys Cooper in recognition of the profound impact you have had shaping the education of the youth of Danbury. As the longest-serving member, we already know this, of Danbury's Board of Education, for more than 3 decades, you have dedicated yourself to serving our student population. You understand the importance of building a school system that addresses the needs of every student. The dedication of the Gladys Cooper Boardroom at DPS Board of Education Complex is a well-deserved honor. And these are both signed by the President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, and the Secretary of State. We love you, and we congratulate you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay. No more holes in the wall. I will. We'll find a great spot for it. Okay, and to close out, this is all so lovely. To close out the evening, I'd like to call Reverend Dr. Chris Williams from the New Hope Baptist Church up for closing remarks and prayer.
Good evening, everyone. Could I start by first saying congratulations to Ms. Cooper on this dedication? And to assist in that congratulatory remark, I'm going to ask that all of the members and friends of New Hope Baptist Church would stand or raise your hand if you're already standing. Amazing. Thank you. There are so many words that come to mind when I think about you, Ms. Cooper, and the work that you've done over the years. But your parents have blessed you with a name. And I did some research, and I found out that your name has strong meaning. That name, Gladys, the dictionary reminds us that that word means royalty, or that name means royalty. But also, you embody the other words that are defined in your name, which are grace, dignity, and kindness. I want to thank you today that in lieu of the fact that you are royalty, you remain graceful, a woman of dignity, and also kind. We celebrate you here today because when you said in your quote that all children can learn, you were not only speaking of the children of Danbury, but also every child in every aisle and pew in New Hope Baptist Church. So we thank you that you haven't been stingy with your gift, but for years you have shared it and continue to teach equitable thoughts throughout the school system and the community which you serve. You've been a blessing to many, and I'm blessed to call you a member of New Hope Baptist Church. So on behalf of your church family, I say thank you and congratulations. And for everyone else who is trying to decide whether or not you should join our church on Sunday, I'm finished. Let us pray. Let us pray. Dear God, we thank you for this occasion today that you have brought us together. We thank you for the legacy of Miss Gladys Cooper, the work that she has done in the classroom, our community, and in our hearts. We pray, Lord, that this space, this place will continue to be a space of inspiration to others in the future who will come, that it will inspire wisdom and purpose in the lives that we live, in the journey that we continue as we walk through our educational journeys. God, we just pray that the legacy in this room will continue on to educate the future generation who will see everything that takes place here today. We thank you for those who organized this event, those who showed up to celebrate it with us today. We pray for safe travels. In Jesus' name I pray. Let us all say amen. Amen.
I'm going to put you on the spot for a moment, Ms. Cooper. Nope. I'm going to give you the mic and get an opportunity to say a few words yourself tonight.
First of all, I give honor to God for letting me see this day. I had no idea that when I started out on the board that I would be in a room named Gladys Cooper. Okay? I just love my family at New Hope. Some of us have started back, way back, and we have continued to be friends. And when I have asked New Hope to show up, they have showed up. And I appreciate that. And I just want to thank Pastor for agreeing to come and say a few words. And I said, well, he didn't ask you what he needs to say about you, but he said something. And I appreciate that, and I learned something. So I thank you again, Pastor. To my family, to my son, to my grandchildren, who's over there on the phone. Yeah. I want to thank them for coming, all my friends and everyone. I want to thank Kathy Montanero. I don't know if she's here or she left. She left? Okay. Kathy was the one that really taught me when I started out on the board. She said, Gladys, come to the meetings, learn what you have to learn, and always follow the process. If you do what's in the guidelines for you to do when you get to those meetings and you don't understand what to do, just rely on the guidelines. And I really appreciated that because it was one committee on the board that I got not stuck with, but the superintendent evaluation. It was a hard committee. And she really taught me the ins and outs of that committee. And really, I really appreciate that. So I don't have anything to say except I don't know how far my journey is, but I love the children in Danbury. I love what I do. And I just say, I appreciate each and every one of you again. I can't sit down and have coffee with you every few minutes because it's something else I'm doing, okay? But we don't get a chance to really sit and talk to one another like we do tonight. And I really appreciate that fellowship. And I want to thank the young man, our musician. I love him with all my heart. And then sitting beside him is Cheryl, who's a talker. Yeah. She is a good friend too, and I appreciate them. So I want to just say that I enjoy doing what I'm doing. It's frustrating, but there's always a light at the tunnel. So you keep praying for me, and thank you, okay?
So that concludes the program tonight before our board meeting. I did have one request so that we can get a photo with everyone in the background, to have you maybe sit over there if you're up to it, and we'll to get the community behind you as they have been. And thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Chartwells, for the beautiful food. Okay, we're going to get our Board of Education meeting started in just a minute or two.
Al. Present. Teresa. Michelle. Here. Kate. Here. Gladys.
Here.
Mary. Lauren. Juanita.
Here.
Rich.
Here.
Julie.
Here.
And I'm here.
Okay. And we're not going to have any recognition, no? Okay. Just go ahead.
I think, good evening, everyone. I think the obvious recognition tonight was the dedication of our boardroom in honor of our board chair Cooper. So it was a beautiful night.
Yes,
I
it
think
was.
everybody who's still in the room there's no one new coming in. So, so many people came here tonight to honor you. So we're very excited by that. And we look forward to that plaque being a wonderful symbol of your leadership for many more years to come. Okay. So other than that, I don't think we have any public participation tonight.
Okay, so we
As
can
far
move
as I know, I checked the sign-in sheet, but if there's anybody out there, you have to read, I think you should read. Yep, I believe so. Yep.
The board welcomes public participation and asks that speakers please limit their comments to 3 minutes. Speakers may offer objective comments of school operations and programs that concern them. The board will not permit any expression of personal complaints or defamatory comments about Board of Education personnel and students. nor against any person connected to the Danbury Public School System.
Thank you. We will now move on down the agenda. Michelle, would you do the consent calendar, please?
Motion that the Board of Education approve consent calendar exhibits 25 through 128 through 25, 130 in accordance with. That's it.
Motion was made by Michelle. Could I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Al. Any question concerning the consent calendar? Seeing no, all in favor, could I hear aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion so carried. Any educational staff? No? Okay. No student representative?
Yes, there are. Oh, hello.
Oh, okay, okay, I'm sorry.
No mic.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So we wanted to start off with our PICT speak today for all underclassmen, grades 9 through 11. Many reported it went well, and they were excited to see their scores. We also had our seniors do their class wall, their mural, and while the other students were testing, we want to give a big thank you to Mr. Giuseppe and the PTO for making that possible.
Spirit Week went well, and it led up to homecoming, which also went really well. Student participation was good all throughout homecoming and Spirit Week.
We had our homecoming football game, and the homecoming dance tickets sold out. We had 1,000 people there, and we announced the homecoming court at the football game.
The Air Force JROTC blood drive with Red Cross went well, and many people participated during the blood.
The senior pep rallies next week, and you'll do us is doing well on planning it and everything smoothly.
Fall sports are coming to an end, and all teams had great seasons. Some of our teams made states, including boys golf and boys soccer.
The spring musical was also announced. It's Jesus Christ Superstar.
This weekend, peer leadership students are hosting a fall festival at the campus.
And then we also have the class of 1975 reunion is coming up, and we're going to have peer leaders give them a tour around the campus, including all the new buildings.
The Academy Student Ambassador Program is up and running. Students were interviewed and chosen to help out around the school.
That's all we have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Did you practice? You guys were well choreographed today.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great.
Then
That's
we
right.
move. Then we're gonna move to the superintendent's report.
Okay, so we had a couple requests to check in on enrollment. I'm trying to get this going here, Ken. There we go. It's a little small on that side. So I did send this out to the board just to kind of give a sense of where we're at this point in time in the year. On an annual basis, we report our enrollment based on an October 1st snapshot. And then over the course of the month of October, our data team works with the buildings to certify the data. And so what that involves is a process where we check in on any potential errors or discrepancies. Sometimes there's some missing data on a student, and so we spend some time tracking that information down. And so as of the October 1st snapshot, the data that you see in front of us is not certified, meaning it has not yet been submitted. Because those numbers change, and I already looked this morning, and there are already about 45 students different than what's up here, but that's pretty typical for us. So our total district enrollment currently, right now, is 11,430. Again, that number just went up by about another 40 students from the time that the snapshot was taken. But we're still working to pre-certify, and once that information is sent to the state, we'll give the board a final update on what actually was reported. You could see that we are down from the previous year in 24-25. And you can also see that the category in particular that is also significantly down is our English learner, multilingual language population student, as well as free and reduced lunch. So we have a little bit of a dip there at the moment. Typically in Danbury, we get a surge of registrations just before school starts. And then we see another surge around January and February. So, come winter time, it remains to be seen what that will look like this year, but we are watching it closely. But we are down a bit from last year at this current time. Okay. The top chart just shows the categories by number. The bottom chart is just by percentage. You can also see that our numbers for second language learners are still pretty high. Last year at 37.6, we are now at 36.5, so we're still kind of the leader in the state percentage-wise. And most of the other numbers stayed pretty stable proportionately to the others. Okay. I also included, do you have any questions on that before I go to the next slide?
Just a question, the students with disability, went down?
Yep, it went down just a touch. Kelly, do you want to speak to that?
Yes, we are seeing a slight dip in our preschool enrollment right now. And we are still working on certifying this. I can also assure you there's another 15 or so students in there. So we are seeing a slight dip, but not super significant. If you look at the percentages on the bottom chart, we are actually increasing in the percentage of students with disabilities, slight increase relative to the total student body.
Thank you. Ooh. Up is down and down is up. Oh, I'm sorry. Was there a question, Ms. Cooper?
No.
I think
I'm
down.
sorry, Mr. Janella?
Hard to see.
Is there a chance, or do you know the decrease between the years in terms of the 11,956 and the current 11,430? Is that affecting any particular grade level in terms of elementary, middle, or high school, or?
So it's well distributed. However, we do, in our younger grades, those numbers are down a little bit. And I think ninth grade was also down, just a tad from where it normally is. But again, those we tend to see when we get late registrations during the year. That's also a place where we tend to collect them back. The numbers go back up again. But I think in a couple of months, but through winter would be a real much stronger indicator of where we end up landing for the year. As that's kind of typically our patterns change at different points in the year for us. So, but generally these are distributed fairly evenly across the school system with some pockets in K1 and then ninth grade a little bit. Thank you. A little bit deeper pocket, yep. And then this is the enrollment snapshot for AIS by town. As you can see, we enrolled 258 Danbury students. And then the next largest town that we service is New Milford, and then Brookfield and Bethel, respectively. And then we have 9 students from New Fairfield, and then just a handful of students in some other towns, such as Newtown, Reading, Waterbury, and Woodbury. We are right now in a pre-certified October 1st collection number at 76.5, so we're just slightly over where we're supposed to be. So we could potentially be on another corrective action plan. However, I do feel that right now we have a strong sense of what the recruitment needs are with our new principal, Janine Pekoski. She's already hit the ground running and has a full-blown recruitment plan and has some experience in that area, and will be supporting the school with some additional resources and support as well. So I'm not so worried about that number. I do think that we'll be in a good place by this time next year. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yes, Mr. No.
And also, do you know what the differential is between the out-of-town students, is its total versus its capacity, what our shortfall is, and how do you feel or find the progress going in terms of recruitment, in terms of getting more of the kids into a magnet school?
Sure. So we're just shy of the ratio balance. We're supposed to be at the 75-25 ratio balance. So we're just over. So we're pretty close. You know, I would love to hover more closely around the 70-30 mark to just keep the margins from making us sweat every fall. But we can definitely, in terms of the capacity, I think we could probably take another 30 or 40 students there, I believe. I'd have to double check to see where those sit. But again, it go by grade level, so you can have, you know, fourth grade could be maxed out, but there could be room in third grade. So it really depends on where those seats lie, and then how they're spread out across the K-5 grade levels.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, and that is it for the enrollment. And then we have, tonight we have, I asked our Director of Technology, Gina Jasmine, to speak to us about a Chromebook insurance program that we would like to implement, and she's going to give us a little bit of information on this. And this is important because, as you know, we're now one-to-one for the most part, and maintaining that is pretty difficult, so we'd like to try to put some strategies in place to keep our stock in good shape. Gina?
Good evening, everyone. So I've been researching different companies to offer device insurance, what I think will work best for our families and for our district. As you know, we have a one-to-one program, and there we go. Kids travel with their Chromebooks back and forth from home, and during that time, they get dropped. Stuff gets spilled in them, the screens crack, occasionally they get misplaced. And, you know, so we end up with many repairs, and that takes time, and then we have to give them a spare, you know, everything like that. So I'm suggesting that we go with Smart Tech device coverage. Smart Tech is a company that will work with us. The coverage is $26 a year per device. It's an easy sign up. It's all online. Parents can go to the website. They sign up for the insurance. The insurance covers everything. If it's a cracked screen, if they dropped water in it, if it gets lost or stolen, you can just fill out the paperwork, and they would bring the Chromebook to one of our building techs. The building tech packages it up in a labeled box that the company gives us, and it's sent off to the company for free. They then do the repair if they can. So if they need to replace the screen, they can do that. If they need to replace the keyboard, that can happen. If it's a situation where it's lost or stolen, you know, we have some little extra paperwork to fill out, or they determine that it cannot be, it's beyond repair. We can have it replaced for free as part of this package. It is unlimited claims for the year, and the turnaround time, they tell me that the turnaround time is less than 2 weeks. So what we would do is let a student borrow a Chromebook that we have, you know, in reserve, and until their Chromebook came back. Obviously, I would get reports as needed on how many devices are out there being repaired and what type of repairs we have. But it just seems like such a simple program for great peace of mind. If you have 1 kid or 5 kids in the district and they all have a Chromebook, that's a lot of responsibility. And kids are kids, and things break. And so, you know, I suggest that we move forward with this program. Any questions? Yes.
Can you tell me what the program is currently in terms of every kid has a Chromebook, so what happens if
So right now, if you bring your Chromebook in and it has a cracked screen, for example, our techs will take it. We have to order a screen. We have multiple different models of Chromebooks because we always try to get the best price every year. So that doesn't mean we always have the same model Chromebook. Every Chromebook has a little bit different screen or a little bit different keyboard, things like that. So we have to order whatever we need. We have to wait for that to come in. Then it needs to be repaired. We give them a rental while this is happening, but the process takes a lot longer. And you're talking one tech per building. So, in some cases, it's one technician for 600 students. It's a long process. And this way they're getting their device back in working condition in a short amount of time.
So currently, if I'm a parent with 3 kids in the district, each one has a Chromebook. At the present time, I'm not paying anything for the Chromebook, and therefore the only inconvenience is on the substitution being the rental that I'm getting. There would be a cosmetic difference. So what is my incentive as a parent then, if I don't have any financial obligation currently, to then spend the $26? Is it just the fact that I've got a turnaround time and would get my machine back? I just don't see your selling point in convincing the parent that they should be out of pocket for something that they're getting for nothing now, unless I'm missing the boat on something.
So that's a fair question. In some cases, we have students who have had multiple Chromebooks that have been damaged for a variety of reasons. And at some point, because obviously we can't sustain that model, which is one of the reasons why I'm proposing this. But in some cases, we get to the point where the child just has the Chromebook during the day. So this would allow kids to bring the Chromebooks home. We saw over the past couple of years that the younger students, principals had them stop taking Chromebooks home because, they're little and they just drop the backpack and things like that. So a spike in damage. But there are cases where they want these younger kids to take the Chromebook home and use it, but they also understand that we can't sustain a model where we don't have a repair.
I have a follow-up question.
I'm sorry. Louisa had a question.
I'm sorry? The only question I had is to follow up what Mr. Janela said. What happens if the parent can't pay? That's one. And two, my second question is, if the district was to pay for it for the entire year, what would be the cost for that?
So we have a small pocket of money to help any families who would need assistance in paying. And it would be $26 per student per year if we were to pay, if we just ourselves were to pay outright.
300,000.
300,000.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I'm just looking from the other side of the coin with parents. I mean, we do have
Understood.
approximately around 65–70% of our free lunch program, which shows that there's no money somewhere out there. And we got to, somehow we have to take care of our resources, and maybe the district can figure out from the finance and see if we can. But I would say that on top of that, if the student continues to damage the computer, then I think the parent should get a bill.
Louisa, and then Michelle, and then Kate.
To kind of piggyback on what Al was saying, so if a family can't afford it and they have multiple kids in the district, and we have a lot of those, I mean, so are we saying that we're going to supplement all of that for the families that can't afford it? And what criteria are we using for that? Is it just a family's going to come in and say, I can't afford it, so we're going to supplement it, and what's to stop everybody in the district. I'm just worried that this might, snowball into a bigger
Yeah.
bill.
Yep, that's fair. I don't know, Kara, if you.
Yeah, I'm
you
doing some
want to,
math
Jeff?
here. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, we talked about this. I was just trying to do the math on what it would, how much we usually spend on the replacement costs. And I think the biggest problem that we're facing right now is that we can no longer, as Sheena said, sustain giving students multiple Chromebooks to take home, lose, crack. And then, and some students have received 5 or 6 Chromebooks. And, we don't want to limit access for students, because if the Chromebook is a device of access to curriculum, to resources, to homework, to the teacher's assignment, we don't want to limit that. But at the same time, we have to come up with a mitigation strategy so that we can sustain what it is that we're doing. And I think that's the question is this the best approach? I think the $26 is a bargain. The question is, how do we have our families and kids have a little bit of stake in the game so that they're not, say, maybe a little bit more responsible with the ownership and the care of these devices, and then but also, if this is something that as a board we say we're going to take this on, this becomes an annual expense for us to come up with $300,000 a year as the insurance for this access, which takes the pressure off the tech team, which we have a very limited staff with the tech team, makes that process easier so that we're not in the business of repairing. You could walk into some of these tech rooms and there's a stack of computers up the wall with missing keys, broken screens, and this is just, it's money wasted, and time and effort, and then the students also do not have access. So I think, I personally like the idea of an insurance program. The question would be, to what extent does the board bear the burden of that insurance compared to the constant replacement? So it's kind of, you pay now, pay later. So we're quietly, like the quiet burn of this is that we are replacing these devices. We are handing students another laptop when they need it. But it is a question of sustainability. So we're trying to come up with a mitigation strategy for that.
And we see a change since COVID with our licensing. So originally, the licensing on the Chromebooks was only 5 years. And since COVID, that has changed to 10. So I'm really trying to make an effort to keep these devices as long as possible, because their licensing is good for 10 years. And what does that mean? That means that kids can do state testing on these Chromebooks until the licensing runs out. And with this program, it will help us keep them repaired, but also replace the ones that can't be replaced. So this is one of the drivers behind suggesting the insurance.
So what is the actual process? You get the laptop, is it one for the 4 years? Is it one each year? And what currently is the replacement? Is it one-time replacement? What is our policy? And if not, if they were to extend it to a third, is that where we could implement a fee? Or does the fee need to be taken right up front, as soon as you're handed that laptop? So I'm just wondering about those details.
Sure. So the replacement cycle is every year we replace at 3rd grade, 6th grade, 9th grade. And at the elementary level, that has been a little bit of a change, because we've gone back to the cart. We have a Chromebook for every student, but at the elementary level, they're stored in carts, right? But from 6 on, and actually some of the middle schools, I think, store in carts now too, because middle school is where you see the highest damage. That's across the state. But so 6th grade, 9th grade, you get a brand new Chromebook. That stays with you for your time in middle school, in high school. The process, if a student breaks a screen, they go to the building tech, and they sign out another Chromebook. We don't have a policy, which is part of the reason I'm here, and we definitely need. But a lot of times we do it on a case-by-case basis with input from the principal. You know, this truly was an accident. This kid is always responsible. You know, then there's other situations where maybe they could be a little bit more careful. And usually by the time after the second device, that's usually when we say, you know, you have to keep it in school now. Like, you cannot take it home. And in this case, you know, it's unlimited. I mean, I hate to, it's unlimited. It's an unlimited amount of claims you could make. The process would be now with this insurance, they hand them the device, they hand the building tech the device. The building tech would mail it off to the company who repairs it and would give them a replacement until their repaired device was returned.
So we could essentially say anybody who's taking the laptops home, 6th through 12th, could be paying that $26,
Correct.
and then the laptops from pre-K to 5th grade
Correct.
that stay here
Yep.
would not have to necessarily pay that fee.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
well, that's an option.
Kate. And after Kate, Juanita,
Yeah.
after Kate,
Anytime.
then Ms. Janella, and then Juanita.
Gina, thank you. I appreciate you bringing this forward to us because it's about a lot as well. I'm involved in IT myself, and I know that those repairs can be very time consuming. My question is there a minimum threshold of policies that would need to be hit in order to achieve that $26 price, or is this just like flat? If we had 3 parents that wanted to enroll in this, they'd be able to achieve that price?
Yes, it's just a flat price. It's
Wow.
not based on enrollment, which is why I liked this company, because other companies that I looked at, it was like, you have to get every high school parent to sign up. So this is just a flat price.
Thank you.
Yep.
I have a question and a comment. The question is, the $26, is that predicated, the premium that you're talking about? When you talk to the insurance company, is that predicated on a number of uses? In other words, if we went full-blown and paid for it ourselves, you're looking at 11,400 and some odd students. If it's not, is there a way to negotiate with an insurance company to say that, let's say the district was picking up the tab, and we're going to bring you revenue for 11,000 plus children. We don't want to pay $26, but we want to pay $10 or $12 or something. Is that something that's possible? Is my first question. The other comment is, I do think once you get into the subject matter of deciding who you're going to pay for because of affordability gets a little bit touchy. On a different subject, I just want to say, Dr. Casimira, the building is magnificent, except the layout of this table breaks my neck trying to look at who's talking and looking at you. I don't think this particular layout is a healthy layout for conversation with people of our size. So thank you. I might be just old and tired, but this is an enormous.
Gina, if I could jump in.
It's like looking down a football field.
Yes, it is quite the distance. Yes, I concur. We will have to rethink some of that. I think what might be a productive thing to do is because, and we've heard some good ideas here about possibly creating, you know, what would it look like if we did half the district where we're sending students home. And I think what might be productive, because I think we can go on and on about the benefits and the kind of the drawbacks of this all night. Why don't we put together like a scale of possible scenarios about what our break points are for how much we normally go through in terms of maybe we repair 600 laptops a year, and this is what it costs us versus the cost of maybe $150,000 worth of policy, and then what's the delta in between that, so we can kind of scale that out a little bit and then bring back to the board some ideas and proposals about what that could look like for us and where we might want to go with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Juanita.
Oh, Juanita, go ahead.
Juanita, then you.
Can I just, I just want to answer your question first. I will reach out to this company and ask them about the sliding scale if we are going to pay as a whole district. So I'll get that information for you. You're welcome.
Thank you for the information that you provided. I do piggyback with everybody else with families who have more than one child in the system. Could be 3, could be 4, could be more. And that's a big burden in the economic setting that we're in right now. So that would be a big concern for me. The other thing is that when the laptops or Chromebooks are given out to students, are they collected at the end of the school year?
So from K-8, yes, but at the high school, we let our students take them home during the summer.
And so I will follow up with that. At the high school, my experience has been that there are many carts within the classrooms. And that being because even at the high school level, we have students who do not consistently bring those Chromebooks to class with them. And if we took a poll, it might be a very high percentage. The other thing is that at the high school level, I have had the experience that when the students, their Chromebook breaks down, they don't report it. And so now it's just at home or in a bag. And at the end, I don't know who keeps a record of checking off who has them, when are they checked back in, if they're taken home during the summer, do they have them in September? We have students who transition out of our school system with many of those Chromebooks not collected. We have students who transition in, and we're giving out new Chromebooks. So I think that there are a lot of issues that we have to give more detail on.
And you actually bring up a good point about students not coming forward when their Chromebooks are damaged. I think that's because they're worried they're not going to get another one. But with the insurance, they don't have to fear that they're not going to get a repaired Chromebook. But yes, you are right about many of those points at the high school.
If we are entertaining the notion of the district covering this, could we possibly get information on that other company that required all the Chromebooks to be covered? Because if we're going to cover them all anyway, it would be nice to see a comparison as price-wise and if
By
there's...
every parent?
Yeah, if we're going to cover them all anyway, then it's not a per unit cost anymore. We would be blanket covering them. So I would like to see just what the other companies are offering, just to get an idea of the comparison.
Yeah, no problem.
Michelle?
Can you tell me what we're currently paying right now for replacement or repairs on a laptop? Like, what are we currently spending as a district?
Can we get that information? Yes, I mean, I will bring that as part of a whole package of information for you. Yeah.
Any more questions? I think the superintendent made an excellent recommendation. We're going to check out some information, and then we're going to bring it back to the board, and we're going to talk about it, the whole outlay of how this is going to work for all students, okay?
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Gina.
Okay, thank you, Gina.
Okay, moving on. We just have a brief PDEC update. Allison, our new associate superintendent, is going to give us a little update on what the leader side of the TVAL plan and PDEC plan is having some conversations about right now and where that's headed. So, Allison?
So earlier this week, the PDEC committee met to look at the criteria that's being used to evaluate leaders in the district. Last year, the decision was made to go with the CTT rubric. However, as a committee, the committee voted to go with the professional standards for educational leadership, which are national standards, They were standards that were actually in the Connecticut Model Plan. These national standards actually span all leadership roles within the organization and show a close alignment between educational leadership and student learning. And so the committee opted to use those standards as part of the evaluation process.
Thank you very much. So the administrative union was also very much behind and in support, and then that information went on to PDAC where that was voted upon by members. So we'll be moving forward with that, and we're excited to make some progress in that area. So thank you very much for your leadership on that. And then the next and last thing on the list is a little bit of a federal funding update. There was some consternation a week or so back about IDA funding and where things are going. And Kelly's been fielding some questions, so we thought it'd be appropriate for her to talk a little bit about the status of what she knows at this time.
Sure. So just a brief update. As I'm sure you guys have seen in the news, there was recently the elimination of the Office of Special Education Programs at the federal level. And so with that came some concern and questions that we've received regarding IDEA funding, which is our special education grant funding. We have received an update from the State Department of Education that there will be no impact this fiscal year on IDA funding. That also notified us that title funding is also coming to us. So really the announcement is just to kind of put people at ease, let them know that as we know as of today, we anticipate that in funding to come to district. I have also received questions on next year. We have not been given projections beyond this school year at this time. So as we receive that information, we'll be certain to share it, but I thought it was important to share it with the room tonight.
Thank you. We've been trying to give little mini updates as we've been going along with the board, just to kind of keep up with the kind of the twists and turns of federal funding. So we'll continue to keep the board abreast with information as we learn it. And that's it for me for tonight. We could move on.
Any committees report? Any committees coming up? Kate?
For community relations, our next meeting is going to be November 12th, and I just wanted to make sure that all board members have received the delegate assembly, the CABE delegate assembly resolutions, because that will be a subject of the next community relations meeting. So if you have any feedback on those resolutions, please do respond to myself and to Dr. Seelig, and that way we can bring that to the full committee when the time comes. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Okay.
I'll comment on the finance. We met virtually last Wednesday.
Excuse me, Mr. Janelle, I didn't hear you. Are you asking a question or?
Oh, no, you want to know about the committee reports. I was going to say I will comment on the finance.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, it's a matter of turn. Oh, okay. As I said, last Wednesday we met virtually as a finance committee. We looked at and discussed the financial statements for the 3 months ending September 30th, 2025. Copies attached. The committee also made a motion to the board to accept those statements. In review of the statements, these are 3-month statements where the first 2 months there's virtually no activity in the school district. So the statements are difficult to determine if there are any anomalies, and still too early to discuss that. One of the things you will note on the statements is there's an absence of data put in for grants, particularly the Alliance grants, and that's because we haven't been, as far as I know, approved for it, so they didn't want to put any numbers in. And there were lots of differences in the variance accounts, and that's still attributed to the early year coding situation to get right people in the right place. The Director of Finance indicated that within 30 days he'll get that cleaned up. The next thing we talked about was the 24 audit, which should be in its conclusion stage. As far as I know, by 10/31, they should have a documented report on the audit for 24. And I'm not sure if they signed any engagement letters yet for 25, so that'll be forthcoming. Essentially, that was the conversation, and we'll have the minutes of that in the next board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Janelli. Any other committees, sites and facilities?
Our next Sites and Facilities meeting is scheduled for November 18th via Zoom.
Thank you, Louise. Okay. Anything else? Moving on down, okay?
Action items.
We're doing action item A. Mr. Janelli, would you do action item A?
How to use the speaker there. Thank you, Julie. The action item A, September 2025 financial statement. Motion that the Board of Education accept the September 2025 finance report as recommended by the Finance Committee and in accordance with the document 25-131.
Motion made by Mr. Janelli. Could I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by who? Okay, Julie. Are any questions concerning the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, could I hear aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion so carried. Action item B. Kate?
I'll make a motion that the Board of Education accept for first reading policy 5141.27, first aid emergency medical care dash use of AED, as recommended by the Policy Committee and in accordance with Exhibit 25-132.
Motion made by Kate. Could I hear a second? Second. Seconded by Al. Any question concerning the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, could I hear aye? Aye. Motion so carried. Julie, would you do action item C?
Motion that the Board of Education accept for the first reading 5141-3 health assessment and immunization as recommended by the Policy Committee and in accordance with 25-133.
Motion made by Julie. Could I hear a second? Second. Seconded by Kate. Any question concerning the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, could I hear aye? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion so carried. Juanita, could you do action item D?
Motion that the Board of Education accept for first reading 5141.31 athletic physicals as recommended by the Policy Committee in accordance with Exhibit 25-134.
Motion made by Juanita. Could I hear a second? Second. Seconded by Al. Any question concerning the action item? Seeing none, could I hear a motion in favor of the I'm sorry. All those in favor of the motion, could I hear aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion so carried. Move on down the agenda. Any discussions or information anyone at this particular time want to bring to the board? Juanita?
Thank you. I just wanted to bring before the board that I attended the CABE Legal Issues Workshop on October 16th, and what was covered was to post or not to post, understanding the legal pitfalls of social media use by board members and administrators. We also had a session on a year in review, important court and agency decisions since last October. And then our last session was employee attendance and related new legislative mandates. Very informative. I believe that all of the information is on the CABE website if any member is interested. And I need to know, or asking from the chair, does every board member receive the blue book of the resolutions that will be coming up at the CABE convention? Yes. Everybody?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Do you have copies of those?
Board members should have all got the blue one in the mail.
Mhm.
If not, I can send you a PDF version that I have digitally.
Are they coming through the mail or? Yes. Yeah, okay, I haven't received mine.
And so the question that I have in attending is at some point, we should be sharing these resolutions as a board and having discussion about the resolutions and how to represent those resolutions. So I am just looking for a date when we would be meeting as a board to look at the resolutions.
Thank you. Mr. Sealing, can you set that up so we can, okay. Moving on down, board chairperson, since it was my night tonight, I didn't do anything. Only thing I would like to relate to boards, members, is I appreciate working with you and you attending the affair tonight. Next week, we don't have any meetings, so we can get caught up on some of the reading that we need to do, okay? So with that said, and no one else has anything to bring to the board, I would like to have a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Al, seconded by Michelle.